Greetings from the floor of my office. You see behind me here this old clock. This clock was given to us by Michelle Kearns, who has the homeless house, the Jesus Project, up off Brookhurst and Yorktown. This is an old railway clock from up near Burlingame, and it's something that she'd kept for decades, wanting to offer her child, and her child said, "I don't want it." This becomes a quandary that some of you might even be familiar with or have experience with. What happens when the things that we've saved for the next generation aren't wanted? And this becomes a question for the church's traditions too. What is it that we need to hand on? What is it we need to revisit? What is it that we need to dispense with and say, you know what, we don't need this anymore? Well, obviously there are certain key things that are really important, like the gospel. That can never change, but how we share the gospel might. And this is where we get into the mission. Actually, Michelle, who's the giver of that clock, because her son didn't want it, Michelle just came back from Kenya. And this is Michelle Kearns, not our own Michelle. This is Michelle Kearns. She just came back from Kenya on her very first mission project, wondering how do we share the gospel. We just called the bishop yesterday with Fumi and Pastor Tatno because our bishop wants to take a peacemaker tour to Hiroshima, which will be October in 2026. And so we're going to have that special trip for the bishop. And the summer of 2026 will also be our youth exchange. So September 21st, we will be having a meeting after the second service for those youth between 15 and 18. Or if you're in that orbit and want to just get more information, please come to the church after service, and Fumi will be leading us through a presentation on where they're going. They're going to be doing some cool stuff to try and connect with the Japanese Evangelical Lutheran Church, some new things we haven't done, with the idea of the next generation figuring out how the message stays the same, but the methods may change in our mission. So September 21st, and then the next week after that will be our Oktoberfest. So please put on your dirndls, your lederhosen, invite a neighbor or a friend, take the digital picture, share it with someone, let them know that this is happening, and we're going to have our church Oktoberfest. And then after that, we're going to have our craft fair. Then after that, we're going to have blessing of the animals. After that, we're going to have trunk or treat. So please pay attention to all of these things because they are opportunities and ways for you to get connected. We were talking at church council on Monday night about how it is that we can be more intentional about building relationships that are authentic and also life-giving. And who are the people we need to be reaching out to who aren't here, who may want the message and the gift, but maybe want it in a little different way than we're used to. So that's the conversation we're having on church council right now. And you might have something to say about that too. So please be a person of invitation. Please be a person that connects to all of these things. And we look forward to seeing what God does when we show up, taking this gospel, which is ever new, and sharing it in new ways for our time, for our age, for the people that we know and love. We'll see you Sunday.